Hey everybody, my name is Trinity and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a Q&A and answering some of your guys' questions. A week or two ago, I sent out a poll with some video ideas and asked you guys kind of to vote what you guys wanted to see, and also asked you if you had any ideas, and this was one of them, and I think this one tied with a different one if I'm correct. I don't really remember which one, but I decided to do this one first because it was specifically requested and stuff, and it sounded fun. But if you voted on any of the other ones, those ones will still come out at some point. I just thought this one would be fun to do first. So the first question was, how many books do you have on your bookshelf? And we're currently moving, so I'm in an apartment right now, and all my books are packed away in boxes, but I got this question before we did move, when they were all still on my shelf, and so I counted, and I have about 60 books, which I honestly thought there was my guess was about 38, or like around 38, maybe 40. I was not expecting there to be 60, quite honestly, especially because, that's not counting like my physical TBR, that I did not count. The best books I've read that are on my bookshelf was 60 books. So the next question was, what is one of your favorite series? Which is such a hard question because there's like a ton of different book series that I really like, and most of them for different reasons. But I have like 3 on the top of my head that I can name, 2 of which for nostalgia purposes and one that I just generally like. So I really like The Hunger Games because that's just like a classic series to really like, and I really like that one. It really was my first like dystopian series, if I remember correctly, and you can't really go wrong with The Hunger Games. And then I also really like Keepers of the Lost Cities. It's kind of more of a middle grade book. It's like I'd recommend it for like anywhere in between maybe 10 or 11 to 13, but also anyone could enjoy it. I really like that one for nostalgia purposes because that is not the series that got me into reading, but it was like the second series that got me into reading. And that one, like, I'd say that after I read that series, I was like, that was probably the first series that had me reading like a ton of books in a year, a lot more books than like 2. And so those ones I really like for nostalgia purposes. Probably ones I'll be like recommending to people for years down the road. But I think one, if you count a duology as a series, I don't know, but one that I've read this year that I really like is Mortal Queens. And so that's Mortal Queens and Lethal Kings, and I think it's a really enjoyable series. It's completely clean. The second book is not as good as the first one in my opinion, but I still really enjoyed it. So if I had to choose one of those 3, I'd say Mortal Queens because that would be my favorite series in a complete answer to that question. Okay, the next question is, who is your favorite YouTuber? Which, okay, these are also such hard questions. This one changes not really frequently, but like I feel like once I find a favorite YouTuber, I don't like lose interest in them. I just say the list keeps growing. But currently there's like 2 that like the second they post a video, I'm like, that is the next YouTube video I'll be watching. It goes directly to watch later, but not like the bottom of the watch later list where you're not gonna ever watch it. Like, that is a video I'm gonna watch. Right now I've really been liking watching The Apprentice Ranger and Ashlyn Kaylee. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. They both seem really sweet and really funny. Ashlyn Kaylee, she just seems like so nice and kind, and I don't know, watching her videos are so fun. I feel like I have a lot of common interests as her. Books, obviously, matcha, guitar, she's a Christian. Like, I don't know, she's really sweet to watch, and if you haven't seen her videos, I definitely would recommend watching her. And then Apprentice Ranger is a newer YouTuber, a new YouTuber to me. I just discovered her channel, I'd say a month or 2 ago, but all her videos are so funny, and I haven't found one that I don't like, and they're all so like enjoyable to watch. All the topics are interesting, all the books she recommends are clean. She just seems like a really sweet person, and I'd like to get to know her better and watch her channel more, but she's been a recent addition to the favorites list, and those two are probably the main ones that I've been really I really enjoyed watching recently. Next question is, when did you first realize you love books and which book series triggered that? I'd say probably around 9 or 10 is when I first realized I loved reading. And that was because I got the book series Tuesdays at the Castle. If you haven't read it, I thought it was a really fun book series. Up until that point, I'd read like every now and then. I'd get I'd go to the library and I was like really into farming. So I'd get like 8 books on farming and like the thin, children's books and read through those. Or I'd be really into like astronomy. And so I'd get like 8 books on stars and read through those. All like the thin kids books. But it was never like an obsession with reading in and of itself. Really enjoyed doing that until I read Tuesdays at the Castle. It was like a random series that my mom picked up for me and I tried, and after that I really enjoyed reading. That's the series that I would say started my love for reading. And then after that came Keepers of the Lost Cities, which I mentioned earlier, which would probably be the second one that like made me pick up in speed. But yeah, I'd say Tuesdays at the Castle is probably the one that really got me into reading. The next question is, what are some books that made you sob? And fun fact about me, I have never cried reading a book, ever. And I'm talking like I've read Heartless. I've read a couple sad books. I don't read them often, but I've always, not like I want to cry reading a book, but I think it'd be like, in sad books, it'd be a much more like enjoyable experience when you cry because you're like connected deeply to the book. But I'm not saying I want to cry or anything. I'm just saying like with sad books specifically. But like in any book ever, I've never cried reading a book, unfortunately. Like that sounds weird to say. Like unfortunately, I've never cried reading a book. But yeah, I've actually never cried reading a book. But I do see what you're saying. Like, sad books are, like, it's oddly fun to read sad books. Like, not trying to be, like, sad books specifically are fun to read. But, yeah, I've never cried reading a book, so I don't really have any books that have made me cry. I'd say if you're asking for sad book recommendations in general, the only one I really have for you at the moment would be Heartless by Marissa Meyer. Mortal Queens might have a couple sad moments, maybe, but the main one would be Heartless, which if you've seen some of my shorts, I think I've recommended before, but yeah. Next question is dogs or cats. I prefer dogs. I have nothing against cats. Some people like hate them. They think they're awful. I just don't have a cat. I don't really have any, experience with cats, never really been around them a lot, but I do have a dog and he is a mini golden doodle and his name is Gabriel, and I love him. I've always loved dogs. When I begged my parents to get me a dog for years, my dad did not want to get one because they like shed and you have to take care of them and all this stuff. So the agreement was when we're old enough to take care of the dog, a dog, and when one that doesn't shed. So that's why we went the mini golden doodle, which they shed a little bit, but for the most part they don't. But I begged my dad to let me get a dog from the time I was probably like 5 or 6, and we didn't get one until I was 9. So that was like 3 straight years of leaving notes in his backpack to give me a dog. But yes, I am definitely a dog person. Yeah. Next question is, do you have any siblings? I do have one younger sister, and her name is Eden, and she actually has a YouTube channel. It's, which I will put right here, because for some reason I can't remember it right now. But, yeah, I only have one sibling, but people always say we look kind of similar, though. So I don't know if you see it, but if you ever click on her channel, and we look similar. We're not twins, I swear. She's younger. I'm exactly a year and 11 months older than her because my birthday is June 13th and hers is May 13th. So I was like almost 2 when she was born. So we're about 2 years apart. I promise you I'm older. So oftentimes people say we are look like twins, but I'm not lying to you or not. Question is, do you have any dystopian book recommendations? I don't read a ton of dystopian. It's mostly fantasy for me, I'd say. for the most part, yeah. But I have read 2 series. I mentioned The Hunger Games earlier, which I completely recommend. I really love The Hunger Games. But the other one I've read is the Maze Runner series, which you may have heard of. I read the entire series through because I'm a completist, and at the time I wasn't willing to just stop in the middle of series. Now I am if they're really bothering me. But with that series, I read the whole thing. I really liked the first book. The second book was like, it was okay. And then after that, I am not a fan of the rest of the series. I felt like it was a little repetitive. And I will say, as you get to some of the later books, it gets a little bit more like intense, sort of, in like gore. So in the series, there's like this disease that infects the people, and they have like, if you've seen the movie, I only saw the first one, but I don't remember what the disease is called, but they have a disease that infects them, and so they act and behave in ways. There's sometimes like cannibalism vibes coming from them if they have the disease. But the point of the book is they're trying to basically not get the disease. They're basically trying their best to survive and find a cure for the disease. If you would find that freaky, there's like 1 or 2 moments that might be a little bit like, ugh, towards the end of the series, but compared to like gore in most young adult books, it's pretty mild, I'd say. I'd say like if I had to choose out of 10, it'd probably be 2 or 3, at least for me. If you're very sensitive to gore, like maybe not, or at least maybe don't do like the 4th or 5th book. But for the most part, that series is really clean. I think it's fine to read. From what I remember, it's been several years, but yeah, the first book was great. I really liked the first book. Not a 5-star read, but I'd probably give it like at least 3.75 or 4 range. But yeah, that's really the only dystopian recommendations I have for you. Sorry. The next question is, what is your favorite bookstore? And I have not been to a ton of different bookstores. I've been to Barnes & Noble. There's one near me called J and Mary's bookstore that I really like. It's like a Winans attached to a bookstore. I've been there a couple times. And when we were in Chicago last year, there was a bookstore that is called Exile on Bookville, and it was really cute. And then we usually, like, when we go on vacation, sometimes if we have a free moment, my mom will take me to, like, a bookstore or something there. But if I had to choose a favorite bookstore, I'd say J and Mary's is probably my favorite, most likely. Or Exile Bookville. I don't know. I'm indecisive. I like them both, but for different reasons. The J and Mary's one is close to me. It has a lot of, a big selection. I've been going there since I was, like, little. It's a really cute place. And then Exile Bookville is, like, really aesthetic. I really like that place. I will say it's got to just be a tie between those two, honestly. I can't really choose one, but yeah. Next question is, do you have any pets? I already said I have a dog named Gabe, so that was pretty much, I don't have any other pets. It's just my dog, but I accidentally kind of already answered that question earlier. But yeah, he's about, I think he's gonna be 7 years old. He's gonna be about 6 years old, not 7. Right now he's at my grandparents' house because we're going out of town next week to Florida for for National Fine Arts, which I'll probably explain more. I'm planning on later. I'm planning on doing a travel road trip vlog. So how much can I read on the way there? How much can I read on the way back and throughout the trip / Florida vlog? I'm planning on doing that next week and then probably posting it within the next few weeks. So look out for that. But yeah, he's at my grandparents right now, my dog Gabe, because we're going to Florida next week. And because we're moving. So he's just been there for like 2 weeks, but we'll get him back soon. Next question is, what is your favorite animal? Now, I really, really like cows. That is my favorite animal. I don't know. I don't really have a specific kind of cow. Just cows. Okay, they're amazing. I also like giraffes. That's not usually what I talk about. But I don't know, like if you're asking like what my favorite zoo type animal is, like not like your average daily animal, I'd say giraffes, because they're amazing. They're yellow and they're tall and they're beautiful, because why would you not like giraffes? But my favorite animal of all time would still be a cow. Next question is, if you could meet any book character in real life, who would it be and why? That's a really hard question. If you may have seen me recommend Tress of the Emerald Sea. It's like a standalone book. When I first read it, I rated it like 3.53 because it does take some time to get through, I'd say. It's got a lot of description, a lot of detail. So if you absolutely despise that, like, probably not for you. But I overall really like the book. I feel like as more time passed from it, the more I started to like it. And also I rushed myself through it because it's the beginning of the year and I'm excited for my reading challenge. So I'm like, it's crunch time, you know? And so I kind of rushed myself through it. I would probably reread it again. I think why I rated it lower is because it didn't change in setting that much. But I'd say if I could meet any book character, it'd probably be Tress, who is the main character. She just seems so sweet. She's kind of relatable. She like collects teacups, and she's more like not like the type to go brave a storm and battle and all this stuff. And she seems more like chill and introverted. And the guy in the book, it's more like a friends to lovers vibe, and he's kind of not like wild and crazy. I don't know. It seemed sweet to me. It seemed like a quaint little, it was a very interesting like plot, it was a very interesting setting. Very unique. I don't know. She seemed like a really sweet character. If there was any book character I could meet, it would be Tress of the Emerald Sea. And the reason why would be because she seems really sweet. Seems like she seems very knowledgeable. I would like to talk to her. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'd like to talk to her a bit about like how she changed and grew throughout the book and like what that was like, and just I don't know, about her life and that sort of stuff. The last question is, if you could be in any book, what book would it be and why? And I think it would be The Wild Huntress, because I loved the world, I loved the setting, I loved the character relationships and that dynamic. It was a really fun book, very unique, seemed really fun. They didn't really go into a trial of sorts, but they went on like a hunting trip, and that seemed really fun. I don't know, it just seemed very enjoyable, and I would really love that world and that kingdom dynamic and all of that stuff. I will probably post a review type thing on it soon, because in past videos, or in a short a while ago, I showed it, and I think the book was clean. I just would like to do a review on it so that you guys can decide for yourselves, because as the book progressed, there was like one or two parts they just came up and I didn't like 100% know how I felt about them. Nothing like spicy, nothing really awful. Just think I might do a review on that sometime soon, just so you guys can decipher for yourself. Like align it to your morals and your beliefs and decipher for yourself, see how you would feel about reading that book if you were interested in reading that. But I will say, back to the question, because I love to rant apparently. If I could be in a book, it would be The Wild Huntress, because it seems super fun and I really love the kingdom and that world, and I think that'd be enjoyable. Not like high stakes, but not low stakes either. So, I don't know, it would seem fun. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, that this was kind of what you were hoping for. If you ever have any more questions, you can literally just like spam me and just give me a Q&A. But I hope this is fine for now. And that it was answer some of your questions, and I'd love to know like what you guys think about these sort of things. Like, what book characters would you like to meet and that sort of thing, because I would love to get to know you guys. You all seem so nice. But thank you guys so much for watching. Jesus loves you so much, and I will probably see you in the next Florida vlog soon. I have new books for that. I had to go to the bookstore today because my physical TBR is like scarce, so I've got new books I'll be reading for that, and hopefully that will be really fun to do. I hope this was entertaining and that you enjoy it, and Jesus loves you so much, and bye! Hey everybody, my name is Trinity, and welcome to any of the you'll see any of the other videos. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a Q&A and answers. The first question was how many books I have on my bookshelf. When did you first realize you love books, and which book series? Wow.